Okay, so Chloe joins on my thought question 2. Lighting's a little bad, but I don't really care. So, I chose this mental illnesses because I have a few of those. So I'm a little bit partial, and also the first 2 questions had me stumped a little. What is normal and what is crazy? Okay, I'm like bleeding black over here. I consider normal to be what society, like the definition would be like something society views as social, behavioral, and cultural norms. So like the not outwardly excited, crazy, wrong, shouldn't use crazy in the sense, people. So like if you have someone that's, example, like me, crazy, dressed in like anime cosplay, running around in the streets being like insane, that would be considered not normal. That because that would not be a social norm to run around in outfits that's not usually seen. Crazy, however, is not defined as not normal in my book, since normal is like, could be anyone, whereas my definition of crazy is something went wrong in the biological or mental makeup that is causing you to be behaviorally or whatever affected. So normal is you have the choice to be off, whereas when you crazy, I don't think it's a choice. It's defined as an involuntary problem, I guess. How do you define mental illness? Mental illness I define as something that has gone wrong, that you have some kind of disorder, whatever it may be, you can't control. And it's from something in your makeup as a person. It could be anything from behavioral to like legit, did I just say legit, problems where you cannot function in society at all. What can we do to reduce the stigma of mental illness? I don't think we can reduce the stigma of mental illness because people are going to be jerks and prejudge and all of that kind of thing. I think I'm defining stigma correctly. Maybe if like the social media was reduced on all their kind of mean ways of putting things, even on TV shows there could be like the crazy guy in the corner with all his issues, but they like make it like comedy. And if that kind of went away, which I don't think could ever happen, I don't think that will ever really happen, but that would be one thing as a population we could do. Should we give meds to treat mental illness? Yes. Is that bad for me to say? I would say yes. Even though that could like fuck up other stuff later on. At the moment, for my personal experience and seeing it around me and with me, I'd say it helps. If so, for which ones? So which mental illnesses? Well, I'm not going to put all mental illnesses in a cage box right now because I can't really think about all of them, but I'd say all of them. Unless it's like, for example, Down syndrome. You wouldn't give meds to treat a Down syndrome person for their Down syndrome. Maybe if they had behavioral issues, which you could substitute ADHD meds for, and kind of categorize it like that. But other than that, I would say all, just because of personal stuff. For what age? I'd say as young as 6, 7, because that's when I started on my, okay, that's not the only stuff I've started on, but ADHD meds, I had ADHD as well as other stuff, if I hadn't taken my ADHD meds since I was that young, I would not be in college right now. I would not be able to focus or do anything. Because eventually, after about the time I turned 15 was when I started weaning off the meds, because it helped. It really helped, and I was able to stay in school when I was little, even through all those ADHD difficulties. I was an extreme case of ADHD, even though you couldn't really tell now. But for something like that, I'd say as young as 6, 7. I mean, I can't say for each disorder because I don't know much about all the other disorders unless I've had personal experience with them. How do you feel about meds versus therapy? Therapy doesn't always work, but it is like the more recommended because you're not going to get like pill side effects or med side effects. But therapy not always help. Sometimes you really do need medication to help with stuff. Therapy should go along with medication, I think, because there's always the chance that therapy can also help. And maybe possibly you won't need the medication after you've done all the therapy and stuff, but sometimes therapy doesn't work at all. Do we overdiagnose mental illness and explain? Yes. Yes. And I'm going to go back to ADHD again with this. Kids that act crazy, they'll be like, I use crazy again. Kids that act hyper and are like, ooh, let's have fun. They'll ADHD. No, it's just a hyper child because they're a child and they want to be hyper and have fun because that's what children do. That does not mean they're ADHD. Now, if you're talking to them and all of a sudden they're like, ooh, light post. And all of a sudden their mind goes from like light post to pool to from pool to like, ooh, that rhymes with pool. Oh, I want to go swimming. Mom, can I go swimming? No, but why? It's raining. Rain. Oh, that makes the streets really... That's ADHD. So yes, I do think they really overdiagnose mental illnesses, but again, I can't really think about everything on the topic. Do we over-medicate for mental illnesses and explain? Doctors, I believe, will start throwing pills at you, even if you don't really need them, but when it comes to mental illness, I don't think as much doctors try to throw all these medications at you as much as like when you have a severe mental illness, you'll be like, nothing's working. I mean, this is working a little, but I want to be fully done with this, which you can't be. You can't just be like, no more mental illness. Same with the family members. If you're like mentally incapable, family members going, fix this. Oh, this isn't working that well. This is working really well, but it's not enough. I want more. Then they'll be trying to get all the pills, and the doctors are just like, screw it, fine, here, have your pills. But I don't think doctors themselves, unless they're like up on a contract with some place, they'll be like, ooh, this helps everything, cough syrup. But it's like some weird thing called like, whatever, I don't even want to list something. But, so I don't think there's, of course, I'm probably completely wrong in this, because I feel like this is probably a major issue, but that's kind of my take on it. What are your thoughts about ADHD and its treatments? Can I just skip this one, since I've already said a lot about that one? Ask like bipolar, I know about that and stuff and as well. What are your thoughts about ADHD and its treatments? My thoughts about ADHD and its treatments is it's way overdiagnosed. There's too many people creating medicines for ADHD and being like, oh, mine's the best, when there's so many now that half of them will like have your kid have seizures later on in life. To be honest, a lot of them are that bad, which I actually was on one of those at one time, and I still have seizures to this day because of those pills. Like mini seizures, not full-blown seizures. I feel like I feel like about 70% of kids that are diagnosed with ADHD do not have ADHD. They're probably just a very hyper child. Whereas the other 30% have serious problems and need stuff to even make it through their school career, which was like me. a pain in the ass. I don't really know what they're asking, and what are your thoughts about it? I was like, it's a pain in the ass. And its treatments, way too much medication. And people are like, well, go help with physical therapy, go have, get a tutor, but none of that's gonna help. You need, like, actual medication. I think medication is the major answer to ADHD, because personal experiences. Well, that's about all I have on this one. I got, like, really too personal in this one, but, like, not personal enough at the same time. So, signing out, bye!